It's called a promo,
Shut
kid,
your
and
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. Glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's death.
Here's how you know it's going to be a good episode today. There is no opening clip. There's no opening clip today. I'm going straight to it because I got a fucking jam-packed episode today.
Yeah.
Had to get one in. Literally, it didn't take not even 30 seconds into the program. That's hilarious.
I knew what I was doing.
No opening clip today. First of all, arena was fucking sick. That arena was sick. The Crown Jewel arena.
Yes, I like the little jewel in the middle.
That was dope. And I was like, I cannot even start before even saying that the arena was sick and that Ronda Rousey is all elite. Two things like I can't even say, I have to say before I can even start the episode is that, first of all, we know Ronda Rousey isn't actually all elite. She's not actually signed to All Elite Wrestling. She is just tiptoeing around. She's like in her Jordans, just tiptoeing. Yeah. Those are written above all the notes. They were like in a whole separate category. Dude.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
I know. I got a little light mention of Crown Jewel, but that's like the bulk of the episode. We'll get there. We gotta start on Collision first.
Collision.
We left off on the Halloween episode.
Let's go.
And we were talking about Abaddon having a women's title match, and I actually think it was gimmicky, of course, but
it was alright, yeah.
Predictable, but it holds up anyways. There's the note that I wrote. Bars. I love Tony Storm coming in and just being extra as fuck.
Like, there's no reason to do it, but that's why it's great.
Again, Collision notes are just reminders because it's been a week since this happened for us, but it gets it like it's fresh on the brain for me. Fresh on the brain. Danielson with a broken face and Claudio is out for revenge. I love my notes.
That man is ticked. I have written here, he's Liam Neeson now.
Claudio?
His promo that day sounded just like a Liam Neeson quote, honestly.
I love that. Like, instead of his daughter being taken, it's Bryan Danielson. Dude, I would feel the same way. Literally, I wanted to go to shows just for the off chance that I could see Danielson wrestle one time. The universe does not want it for me.
I blame society.
It does not want me to see Bryan Danielson, and that's not fair. I wrote in there too, I was like, I'm not sure if the injury is legit or not, but we find out that it is.
Yes, just not caused by them. It was actually Andrade who did it, and then Danielson just came out and beasted it anyways. Like,
I'm gonna find somebody. That's all I'm saying. I'm coming for blood. I'm coming for blood. It's like Batista in the
Nobody
night.
Can stop him. Nobody can. Yeah.
I'm like the lone wolf, Baron Corbin. That's the only time I've ever mentioned him in a positive note. Soak that in for a minute, because it's the only time it's gonna happen.
We do have to mention him again, unfortunately.
You can, and I'll sit here quietly and sip my energy drink that's unnamed because this brand decided they didn't want to sponsor us. So you know what? Good drink, but you gotta pay to play.
Exactly. Segue.
Not a segue yet. Not quite a segue yet.
Not a segue.
The only thing that segues to is the classic match that Kenny Omega and MJF had. What I view as one of the best TV matches I've seen in a long time.
For sure. Now listen, we have another one in the same week, in my opinion.
Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that.
You probably already know what it is.
I might, and it could be an interesting conversation if it is.
But I will also say that one doesn't hold a candle to the second match in that trilogy. Stay tuned. What I will say about that match, I gave it away. Kenny Omega's pad falling down?
Yeah.
Perfect symbolism. I thought he was Bret Hart. I am dumb.
Wow.
He was actually Manon from Street Fighter 6.
Thank you. See, I don't play enough Street Fighter to get what video game reference it was, but I knew it was something significant.
It's a female character too, which I found interesting.
Man.
Also, very good character. Off topic.
That match held up on every end, and MJF proved again like he can go toe to toe with the best wrestler of all time.
Yes,
with the greatest pro wrestler.
The greatest.
It's like, can I get the actually? I know I don't have a lot of time, but I think today's episode is going to be a long one with how much shit we got to unpack.
Probably.
I kind of want to listen to what he said after the match.
I think he said we need more Dalton Castle on TV.
I think that's what he said. He said something about Dalton Castle should be the next contender for the ROH World Title, not Jay Lethal.
Actually, I do agree with that. Let's go.
That threw me all the way off. I forgot what I was typing. Now we're back.
Sorry.
Okay. Whoa. It's trying to go with the full 7-minute video, and like, hey, I love that, but I just wanted the one thing.
We don't have time, bro.
Okay, just make sure you turn it down, because that ad was coming. It was coming like a train. And I said, no, sir, not today.
Lonely train going down the... or something.
Wrestling way more than I ever thought I fucking would. Let me tell you something. This shit is exhausting.
He's doing it. He's fucking doing it.
Now I want to tell a very quick story, and it's about the man across the ring from me. I was 19 years old at an independent wrestling promotion. It was literally the first wrestling promotion that I went to outside of my training school, Creative Pro Wrestling Academy.
Plug.
It
was called 5-Barrel Wrestling. I had a match on the opening of the show.
I wrestled in 5 barrels at once.
And I aspired to reach the heights of in this sport were guys like Bryan Danielson.
Amen.
Bryan Danielson.
Guys like Samoa Joe, who's kind of an asshole, but... And most certainly guys like Kenny fucking Omega.
The greatest pro wrestler of all time.
Now that night, you had no reason to stop and watch my match. I was a piss pot, but you watched my match, you pulled me to the side, and you let me pick your brain that night, and you might not remember that, but I sure as hell do. Without Kenny Omega, without the Bucks, without Cody Rhodes, and without Tony Khan, who might be a fucking mark, but he's a visionary.
He's my hero. He's my literal hero.
Wrestling does not exist. Therefore, your world champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, does not exist.
Tony Khan's my literal hero, and MJF is literally the greatest right now.
Honest,
let's go.
He's the most
still don't know what I'm going to do for the bidding war of 2024.
This is a bidding war.
It's real.
But what I do know is that when I get the opportunity to wrestle the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, it tends to sway my opinions a little bit.
That's fair.
That's more than fair.
I already thought he was staying anyways, to be honest.
So now,
I can never call it.
I am going to let Kenny Omega do what he does best. I am going to let him do a goodbye the only way he knows how.
But we're not doing it because we're not saying goodbye. We're just getting started.
If we got 5 more minutes to listen to Kenny talk, we can, but that's actually not conducive to what I'm trying to say here. Because I really wanted to play that. MJF, like I said, is proving week in and week out. He's hanging with the best. He's the best on the mic.
I think I've said it multiple times already, and I'll keep saying it. MJF is the best overall superstar / wrestler / whatever you want to call him on the circuit right now.
I stamp it. I fucking stamp it. Do you know what else I stamp?
What?
Hitting these segues perfect. I love the commentary team of JR, Nigel McGuinness, and Tony Schiavone.
Yes, I can
That is one of the funniest fucking teams I've ever heard. Shout out to Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, who I didn't know this little thing that I got to learn this past week. I went back and watched, I don't watch a lot of WCW. Yeah. I watched WCW, the first Halloween Havoc.
Okay.
And I saw Tony Schiavone ringside shoot it over to Jim Ross, the ringside correspondent. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize this was a thing at one point.
Yep.
I was playing WCW Mayhem on the 64 this past week. Super solid video game. Got it over at Retro Hall downtown here in Odessa, Texas. Which at that point allows me to take a quick break here for a moment and thank our absolutely wonderful sponsor of today's episode, the aforementioned Retro Hall Video Games and Collectibles, located at 415 North Grant in downtown Odessa, Texas. And you know, Dylan, that's the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
We go every Saturday afternoon after we record our episodes, and there you can find all sorts of gems. Classic video games, refurbished consoles, collectibles, DVDs, figures, even events for game nights or playing card competitions. Certainly a great spot to hang out. We like going there and getting our nostalgic fix.
Yeah, every time.
Retro Hall Video Games and Collectibles, again, located at 415 North Grant in downtown Odessa, Texas.
Love the guy that runs it, by the way. He's
Dude,
super awesome.
Super awesome. Cannot wait to go hang out with that guy.
Yep.
Which today we had to start our episode a little later, so we might not see him today, but he sponsors the podcast. We're definitely going to be seeing him at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Some point soon. Dude, he's got that. Again, you're a Gundam nerd, and I know we can't make the podcast about Gundam, and I know you wish we could.
Oh, man. No,
they have that, like, Japanese import for the Sega Genesis.
It's an SD game, yeah. It doesn't just have Gundam, but that's off topic.
I know. I didn't want to dive into it, but I just know, like, they have cool shit like that. So
example, yeah.
You appreciate shit like that. Halloween Raw, was it better or worse than last year's? I'm trying to think because I was at the last one live.
You were, and see, I
Brock
often
Lesnar.
tell people I forget a lot more about things than I know at this point. I have a terrible memory. I can't remember anything from the last Halloween Raw.
I can remember specifically the things that stuck with me. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley throwing hands. Loved that.
Let's go. That's fair.
I remember very vividly the Trick or Street fight because I always wanted to see one of those, and mine was a little lackluster in comparison. Mine was Riddle and Otis, I think. I couldn't even fully remember that, who was in the match. This year's Trick or Street fight was way better than last year's. I gotta say that. It's funny
because I looked at that match and I was almost like, are they bringing Divas era stuff back? Because it felt very Divas era to me.
A little bit, but at the same time, like, it's still women's wrestling.
It is.
I liked it.
I did like it. It's just I don't like the implication.
And speaking of women's wrestling, another thing I remember from last year's Halloween Raw is I randomly got to see Asuka and Alexa Bliss win the tag titles.
That did happen.
Damage Control. Yeah, I was like, damn, I've never seen a title change before.
Just to lose them back the next Saturday or Friday, I think.
No, I have this idea.
Yes.
If you merge Chase U with the Alpha Academy,
I've had this idea before,
and I think that's what'll get me to stop hating them. If they just like became a part of the Alpha Academy, if Alpha Academy was like, we'll bring you into our thing, bring you up. Fuck Chase U.
Dude, I love Chase U, but I actually have a theory here later when we go to NXT that I might change your mind on Chase U, maybe.
Fucking Raw and NXT, both combined. The Creed brothers are fucking killing it this week.
Creed brothers...
They looked great on Raw.
My God.
They looked great on Raw.
They did. I mean, I did not expect them to get a win, much less. But amazing matches. Both matches this week from the Creed brothers.
Dude. Miz and Gunther, it looks like... I feel like, and again... later on Raw, we're going to get a Fatal 4-Way to determine who the actual number one contender is, but I really feel like this is something they're running, and I like it. Because I think Miz is one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time. I used to say the greatest, but... I
think it makes a lot of sense. I think where people are getting hung up on is that they're trying to turn Miz face.
Yeah, it feels like it, 100%.
And, I mean, it can work. You can be a face and still be, like, MJF. You could be a face and still be a sniveling asshole.
Yeah. It can be done, but I don't think anybody can do it as well as him.
Probably not, no, but we'll see.
The DIY reunion, that was a treat.
That was?
Trick or Treat, that was a treat, for sure. Do you want to talk about Xia Li? I don't think you want me to.
I'll talk about Xia Li, yeah. So, Xia Li this week got a... What was it? 2 minutes? Against Candace?
Yeah, it was stupid, in my opinion.
Okay, so I went on a rant on this, and I guess I'm going to go on a rant again.
Do it.
I get it. It's seeing Candace done that way is terrible. I get it.
Give me
Candace
the chips.
does not deserve that. But Xia knocking her out in 2 minutes with a kick gives credence to her moveset, to her kicks, because that's a big part of her moveset. If you show that those kicks have that power, and the fact that she didn't pin Candice means they can go back, run it back, where Candice gets a pin against Xia. But again, I get it. What I didn't expect was the same night, Xia then challenges Becky anyways, even without the title. But then she says the same thing that Shinsuke did to Seth. Almost, like, on my time. That's kind of stupid.
When is your time? Is her time?
That part is kind of stupid, but knowing how Xia Li was like when she was with Mei Ying in that faction, maybe she's gonna attack her like from behind one day and then be like, "Now it's my time. See you next week" or whatever. We'll wait to see how that. But I liked it. But again, I see the complaints.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't see her. It's not even her problem so much. I just don't think she's connecting with the fans at all. I don't see it. I don't feel any sort of like fan connection there. They don't love her or hate her or anything. She just comes out, squashes Candice LeRae, and then it feels
I think the hope is that the same thing that Becky has done with like Tegan, with all these other people, is that once she has that match with Becky, maybe that's when they'll start. But if not, then I think it's another one where you gotta hang it up, be like,
gotta hang it up.
Or alternatively, Mei Ying / Wendy Chu is still not doing anything. You could always bring that faction back.
Say Wendy Wu, like the Homecoming Warrior?
No.
Wendy Wu?
No.
That was not a Disney plug. I may or may not edit that out. I probably won't because it's funny, but
yeah,
that's probably the only time I can mention somebody like that.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Xia Li.
No. The first Halloween Havoc night was solid as fuck, pay-per-view level.
Right.
The second one, I don't know if it was pay-per-view level. It was good, of course. I don't think it's as solid as that
I agree
first
with
night.
that. There were definitely some highlights to it. I think the match I wanted to mention is one highlight. I think the Tozawa part, while not particularly... It didn't make a lot of sense, but it was funny. And
See, here's what's fun about it for me, is like, I appreciate metaphor, and I don't always like what they're doing. I often get bored by what they're doing, but this was one time where I was really entertained. I don't know if it's like the Scooby-Doo thing just resonated nostalgically or
but I think that's part of it. The other part of it was the fact that
I loved it.
The implication that Tozawa is a cult leader. I think. I mean, he had druids. They all attacked.
Tozawa is actually joining forces with Paul Bearer and the Undertaker from the afterlife.
go.
He's summoning the dead. They really could have ran some full Halloween shit with that.
They could have. I mean, and Joe Gacy was another one I thought would get a bigger spotlight on either night, but he only got a vignette, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask you how you feel about the table ladders and scares match, but I don't love this idea that we can just make TLC matches be either ladder finish or pinfall finishes. And just because we changed the word from chair to scare, no. The standard on TLC matches already is high at that.
See, it was, but again, like, the Creed brothers went out there and killed it. And you know what? Credit to Angel and Humberto as well. That move that they did on the side near the entrance, where like Humberto and Angel have one of them, and they do some sort of move where they grab them and like take them to the table from the turnbuckle.
Oh, okay, I know what spot you're talking about.
Yeah, that innovative. Like, I've never seen something like that. At least not in WWE.
Right.
No one's doing that in WWE. And I think Angel and Humberto came out and showed a side of themselves that they needed to. Like, no more Los Lotharios. Now we have some legitimate competition.
Well, I'm glad I asked your point then, because that brings a different perspective to it. Like I was saying, too, like, the standard's already so high, so it's always hard to appreciate it as just being a good match.
No, I get that. Like, it's not Edge and Christian level, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, but it was still, especially given, like, the fact that the night before, the Creeds had a amazing match with Alpha Academy, and the fact that no one had any standards for Angel and Humberto, solid.
I hate this idea that, like, we could just pick and choose what finish happens in a TLC match. Like, I feel like it's either gotta be it's stated that it's a pinfall finish, or it should just be by standard a ladder finish. Like, you have to climb the ladder and achieve some sort of prize. It doesn't have to be a belt,
No,
of course.
I get that.
And you can bring back the Tit Invitational, the Terry Invitational tournament.
I was about to go. I was like, what? Huh?
Who did come back? Let's segue that into something. Wes Lee came back to regain his North American title.
Yeah, you know what's weird about that? I had written in my notes, I was like, Wesley was the one that attacked Trick. And then he came out and was like, no, Wesley was not the one that attacked Trick. But let's get that title back on Wesley. Let's do it.
Yes, I agree. No. Lola Vice did win, as everybody expected.
Yes.
I hope different, but there was no surprise there. I hope Kalani Jordan gets her moment in the near future.
I hope she does too, and I think
she's the one.
She has a more... Well, they both have an interesting moveset to me, at least. Because Lola's kicks are immaculate.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
And Kalani definitely has a lot of different flips and gymnastics in her moveset that makes her so exciting to watch.
She's the new RVD. That's what I'll be saying.
That kick that she did, oh my god.
Yeah, solid match. Solid final to that tournament.
It was. I'm pleasantly surprised overall by how that tournament went, actually.
Dude. And Dragunov and Hayes 3 was still solid, but I didn't see it as good as the first two. Plus, the story wasn't really about Hayes and Dragunov as much as it was about Trick Williams.
Yeah, well,
and Carmelo Hayes.
There were spots in that match, like the one that's viral, I think, where Dragunov's on the barricade and he's gonna do the H-bomb to him on the table. Like, oh my god, dude! There were some really good spots in that match. And I think the aggression was there as well, but you could also
still solid.
The story was that Carmelo was distracted, and you know he was, and now we know he was guilty. He was feeling guilty as fuck. The pop when he came out.
I know.
My god. I think this is how you send Carmelo up.
I think so too. And then I want to see, again, this is thinking way too far in the future, but I really want to see what Trick Williams does after that. Like, I want to see where Trick Williams goes out of this. And
I think a lot of people, I've seen like a lot of people wrestling wise, like wrestlers and industry people, say that Trick has an upside to him as well. You don't get that a lot with these pairings. But
you really don't.
Bright future for these two. And did you mention Alba and Isla?
I didn't.
Were you going to?
I didn't mention
I just wanted to quickly mention that they took over as hosts. That's not important. The important part is that they still mentioned the curse about the tag titles.
Yes.
And they came out and kind of said, you know, they made themselves known. And they also were seen later on SmackDown watching the whole thing with the... Did they have a match on SmackDown, right? It was... Did Chelsea have a match or someone? I can't even remember. I feel like someone has something on SmackDown. And
the fact that it was literally just a night ago and we can't even remember.
The only thing that stood out about that was the fact that they were still watching.
Also, it's easy to get confused because Chelsea and Piper have been on several different programmings within the past few weeks.
They have. They're proving to be workhorses even though they don't defend their titles much.
That's how I know they were on SmackDown, because I thought Shotzi and Charlotte had fought them for the titles.
No, yeah, that's why. So they were watching that match. They were seen backstage watching that match.
That's right. Now we're back on track.
I really hope they get a shot at those titles and win them back.
Now we're back on track. The one thing that sticks out to me about them, and this wasn't even in the notes, but I thought it was fucking hilarious, them dressing up like the Hart Foundation.
That
was hilarious to me. And Chelsea Green was an amazing Bret Hart. If no one else has said it, I'm saying it.
Chelsea, I still think Chelsea doesn't give all her flowers, but again,
I was about to say, when did I start getting so into what Chelsea Green is doing?
She's very entertaining, and she's pretty good in the ring. Like, I think that's the one thing a lot of people forget.
Switching back over, I get. And hold on. Do you have anything else to mention on NXT? Because there might have been something I just missed.
Whole Chase U thing, the family comes up and talks. The family comes up and talks to them and says that they owe them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you'll get your rematch. And it's like, we want that too. And it seems like Chase, made some sort of deal with them.
A dirty deal.
I think
Dirty D'Angelo deals.
I feel like Chase is gonna turn heel and no one's gonna see it coming. Maybe that's a long shot, but he has played a good heel before in Evolve as Harlem Bravado. I think he can do it.
You saw it coming. That's what matters. You saw it coming before anyone else did.
Yes.
I wonder if anyone will see the Bucks turning heel. Coming.
I think a lot of people saw that coming.
And I get Swerve costing Heyman and the Bucks the 6-man titles is just part of the angle. But I think it's ridiculous to have them drop them right back to the Gates of Agony. Like, right back to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now where they're shuffling titles back and forth for storyline reasons, and I'm just not a fan. And that's not just AEW. WWE has done that as well. See Cody and Jay.
Look at TNA, which I did not cover this week because I said I might be the correspondent, but I just couldn't do it this week.
Busy week.
Could not do that. Dude, Dynamite was pretty stacked, too.
Dynamite was really good, yes.
How'd you feel about Sheeta versus Willow? Sheeta has 3 defenses in a week's time.
Part of the match was not hitting for me.
Was it?
And then part of the match, and I have this note written that Sheeta is very good, if that nothing else, putting out energy that gets crowds back into matches. Or just gets them involved in general.
Like, someone who's seen her live a couple times, yeah, I could attest to that.
And I'm wondering if it has something to do with the way that they're taught in, like, Asia and Japan and places like that. Like, I feel like Japanese wrestlers have a little bit better time of doing that. Maybe I'm just waffling. Maybe I'm stereotyping.
I don't waffles.
Waffling is a term. You get it.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still on a pay-per-view high.
Yeah, but no, I wasn't into it that much. And then the whole.
Yeah, your theory breaking down a bit, but how'd you feel about Sky Blue almost turning? The Blue Mist is fucking sick, by the way.
The Blue Mist is sick.
One note I have, Blue Mist, sick.
I did not see this coming, and I'm confused now. Like, and then Rampage did not help.
Dude, get to Rampage a second, but Rampage did not help. That's very true. Is that one of your 3 Rampage notes? It's not one of my 3. Okay, I was gonna say it's not one of my 3, but we'll get to Rampage in a second. Anyway.
Yeah.
MJF did pick the Acclaimed. Let it be known. Did pick the Acclaimed.
Yeah, my note here is, has MJF gone too babyface?
No.
Like,
I say no, but go off.
I've seen a couple people complain about, like, him joining the Acclaim. Like, okay, now we're going too far. Like, give us back scumbag, asshole, complete asshole MJF.
Scasshole.
I think I thought it was funny. There's something to be said about the whole storyline itself. Like, is Max Caster a little too uncomfortable? Like, is his whole storyline a little too uncomfortable? Which I don't want to make it. I do want to make it. For people who might be, LGBT, is that coming off as offensive to you guys? Max Caster's behavior and, like, them kind of making him kind of a joke? Like, oh, liking a man is a joke?
That's a good perspective question. I would like to know the same thing.
Because, I've had a couple people come to me about that and be like, I wasn't a fan of this.
Huh. Because, from my perspective, again, not even an ignorant one, just an unobservant one, I don't feel any type of way about it, but little could I know.
Again, I'm not LGBT myself, but I like to think of myself as in support, of people.
Of course, we're definitely allies.
Yeah, so I'm not one myself, so I can't say I'm offended by it.
Right.
But I do want to be cognizant of that issue if there is one.
I think we all should be.
Yeah. So that's about that. You have any other notes for Dynamite?
I want to cut a fucking promo on Jay White is what I want to do. I don't know if I have enough time to cut a promo on Jay White. And also, Toni Storm is fucking hilarious.
She is amazingly hilarious.
Dude, fucking Jay White, smug son of a bitch.
What did you think about Tony's big announcement?
Her big announcement. What was her big announcement?
Tony Khan's big announcement.
Oh, I was like, Tony Storm announced
Tony Khan's big announcement.
Tony Storm is just that over right now. She's the only Tony I could think of in that moment.
That's fair.
Not even my hero, Tony Khan. And now I'm like, what was Tony Khan's big announcement?
Pre-sale for all-in tickets.
That's right. That's why, because it didn't directly affect me. Although it'd be sick to go to All In. Can we go to London next year?
No.
Fuck.
Unless we get a lot of money between now and then, no.
It would be sick because our pilot episode was the day of All In. So, full circle that and do our anniversary episode live, yeah, that'd be cool. That's hard.
That's pipe dream right now, but we'll keep it open. The only thing I have for Dynamite was the devil.
You mean David Finlay?
No. It's Jack Perry.
I'm fucking done.
It's Jack Perry.
It's actually not that crazy of a theory yet.
It's not. That's why I think the more people say it, the more I'm like, there is a good chance it's Jack Perry and he's gonna troll us all.
I'm so sold on my theory. I can't believe anything else, but that's not a stretch.
I saw someone bring up the women's package they had with Doja Cat, and like in it, Britt Baker's putting up the devil horns, and I was like, no, it's not Britt Baker, guys.
That is a theory, though. That is a theory. I think that could be sick if it was like an all women's fucking group
attacking men.
It's the fucking Heels Club. Instead of the Bullet Club, it's the Heels Club.
Britt hasn't been doing anything.
Jay White will want to be the leader of that too.
Why not?
Because he couldn't cut it as the leader of the Bullet Club. You know what? Can I just fucking cut it?
Cut that promo.
Okay. Alright, Jay White, you listen, you smug son of a bitch.
Let's go.
You're gonna give that belt back because that's not your fucking property, for one. You think, I don't know, that it hurt when you got banned from New Japan. Jay White, the Switchblade, one of the greatest IWGP heavyweight champions of all time, loses his belt to Okada, the greatest champion of all time in IWGP heavyweight history. Then loses to Eddie Kingston, so he never can come back to New Japan.
Yeah.
Can't handle that. He can't handle that pain, so he masks himself, surrounding himself with B- level talent to gas up his ego. You think that I don't know, Jay, but I do. I've been that guy. But you know what I'm not? A belt thief. Give the fucking belt back.
Exactly.
Tony Storm is hilarious, that's all. Dude, Rampage was solid as fuck too, that triple threat.
It was.
My boy Vikingo is El Vikingo. I wasn't happy they didn't win, but Penta is like a close second to me, so.
I kind of, again, it was another, I felt it was kind of predictable, but it was still a badass match.
Dude, stop using Marina Shafir as the women's jobber for Rampage. I'm tired of that shit.
I honestly thought it was going to be like a tease for like Ronda.
She is facing Athena at that Wrestling Revolver show. Excuse me. Voice hoarse because I just went off on Jay White.
I honestly, I thought for a second, like, oh, she's going to tease Ronda or some shit. Here we go.
Yeah.
Not yet, but...
I know you're excited to see Ronda Rousey in AEW. I know you are. I know we're going to have so many fun episodes after it happens.
No.
Darby Allin making fun of Lance Archer was hilarious. That was fucking hilarious.
Look, we're Texans, so we can say, yeah, it was spot on. Come on now.
I felt no shame about how fucking funny that was. I was like, yeah, that sounds like us down here in Texas.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm saying it too much.
I was rooting for LA Knight all the way up to this pay-per-view until last night when Roman Reigns cut his promo, and I was like, never mind, I'm switching up. I acknowledge him.
I get it. I liked LA Knight's comeback there. I liked the whole, blood between the eyes and, yeah.
Okay, here's something you probably didn't see. Did you notice Kenny Dykstra backstage during the Bianca Belair?
I did not.
He was separating Bianca Belair and Damage Control. I was like, is that Kenny Dykstra?
Let's go.
He is a producer there, I forget.
Yeah.
I literally forgot. And also, in trying to figure that part out, I was like, is that Kenny Dykstra? I forgot he was in the Royal Rumble. He made a guest appearance in the Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Kenny fucking Dykstra, man. Here's a crazy thing, too.
Yes.
John Cena made a Taz reference, and ironically enough, they mentioned John Cena on Dynamite the Wednesday before for Wipeout, and Taz chuckled. Weird.
They must watch each other's product. Like, they must.
I really do think John Cena's watching AEW. I don't actually think he's going to go there, although if Edge can go to AEW, why can't John Cena?
I mean, yeah.
Why can't John Cena end his career there too, like the Hardys and Edge and Sting?
I just feel like
in Jungle Boy.
I don't know. Like I feel like WWE has given John Cena even more than they gave Edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I read something from damn, I'm sorry, I can't even recall. I think it was Cage Side. Yeah, they had said something about John Cena came to terms with WWE having full creative control over how his career ends.
Oh,
Something similar to that. I don't believe it for a minute.
well, can I comment?
Of course.
I need to go off on someone.
That's
Okay?
why you're here.
Grayson Waller. For the love of God, stop tanning, you orange asshole. That tan looked terrible. It's not the worst tan I've seen on you, but that shouldn't discredit it. It's terrible. Also, audio mixers, I couldn't hear shit he was saying over the entrance themes. Get better. Okay, that's it.
Nice. Donnybrook match was solid as fuck.
It was. I feel like, and I say this about a lot of people on SmackDown specifically. I'm going to use the term a lot here in the next few minutes.
Oh, nice.
Treading water.
Treading water.
That's my term for the brutes right here.
Where?
It feels like they're treading water. They're just kind of there. They're being jobbed out. And I don't feel like they're going anywhere anymore. You know what I mean?
It does feel very stagnant. They have these specialty matches made for them, the pub matches, the Donnybrook matches.
Yes.
And Pretty Deadly looked great during this match. Minus that botch, the powerbomb neckbreaker botch that they had. That was a little scary, but Ridge Holland looked okay. Shit happens. It's fucking wrestling. Sick, too, that they didn't use a breakaway stool. Like, added a little legitimacy to it. I don't know if anyone knows that, but they didn't use a breakaway stool. He hit him with a real stool, and it didn't fucking budge. Like a real stool wouldn't.
I did not notice that, but that's...
Yeah. Add a little bit of legitimacy to the match from like a hardcore fan perspective. I'm like, yeah, hit him with a real fucking wood stool. Probably hurt like a bitch.
Speaking of treading water.
Yeah.
Austin Theory. Treading water. Isn't moving shit. Sorry.
Dude, literally just got rolled over by KO.
He did. And like the what is it, 50 million whatever hit man thing, not going anywhere. His promo, that was terrible. His before match promo was terrible. It felt like I literally felt like he was reading off a script. And he had no emotion to it. I'm sorry. Like, when Theory first came, his first match against Roderick Strong in NXT, I was like, this guy's the future.
ROH legend Roderick Strong.
Right now, something's got to be done. He needs like a complete character change or something.
I like that you went off on that. I let it breathe for a second because I was like, damn, he really just tore him up. I'm not the guy's biggest fan, so I admire it.
I mean, I'm telling you how I feel, and again, there is some upside, but
Undertaker's fucking scary, man.
He is.
I don't want to be across Undertaker and Hell in a Cell. We're watching the Hell in a Cell DVD. Just a little plug there so people aren't confused as what the fuck are they talking to the Undertaker
context. It's important.
I guess.
I
need to be on my P's and Q's a little better because not only are we getting some rad sponsorships on this episode, on this show, I should say, but also I think the fucking feds are listening. I don't mean the cops either. I think WWE's listening to our show. I think they heard our show because on the kickoff show they acknowledged Umaga. Like they decided now we're going to acknowledge Umaga after we literally just dropped that episode.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if it's the same package they run all the time for Lashley, but I saw Umaga at least like 2 times in that package.
Yeah,
and I don't know, maybe I'm remembering differently. Just like, I'm sorry guys, I got it wrong last week. Ric Flair's still in the intro.
Yeah.
My bad.
I forgot to mention that. I did have that written down.
I made sure to mention it, but...
The woo's still there.
I'm going to put this out there. I could have sworn they had edited it to where Umaga was not shown in those before, and now he is. I don't know. Maybe I'm...
It could be some Mandela effect shit, which is crazy, but no, last week when we recorded our episode, I remember specifically doing some research and like, damn, WWE was straying away from mentioning Umaga and anything. And all of a sudden today, Crown Jewel Day, Umaga is mentioned all throughout the program.
I like to think John Cena had not only something to do with that, but a lot of respect for Umaga, and that's why they...
Thanks for listening, John.
Love you, John. Thank you, John.
And if they knew, I said this too, I guess it's a little bit wrong now in a sense, but if they knew Sami Zayn was going to get that kind of reaction, why put him on the kickoff show and not just bump that match to the main card, especially when I thought there was still 30 minutes left at the end of the show?
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe they didn't think JD could handle the main show yet.
Damn.
Because JD is an amazing talent, okay? I'm going to be honest here. He's put on some great matches. But lately, I mean, character-wise, he doesn't... I don't think he's flourishing in his character role right now. So maybe they didn't think he would do well with that character on the main show. But, again, I mean, he does show up again, though, so it's kind of...
Yeah. Which makes me question the theory, too. Because, like, I remember the match. It was fucking solid, too, so...
Yeah.
Give JD McDonough a better chance, guys. He's better than kickoff show worthy. Although they used to give kickoff show matches to some, like, ridiculous shit. And I have a theory that, like, they put good matches on the kickoff show sometimes to get seats filled faster, to get people in the arena seated faster, and then also to get people watching the kickoff show, because not a lot of people want to watch the kickoff show.
I could see that. I think this is one match where I think that wasn't the case, though. And I say this because there's so many people complaining about every week on Raw. It's Judgment Day and Sammy, Cody, Jay, you know. Like, why would people who are already complaining about that want to tune into the kickoff show to see it again on a bigger stage?
Good point. Good point. Dude, when in the living hell did Byron Saxton get a ring announcer voice? Dude sounded like he was the announcer from Ring of Honor. He
did. And I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah, and it didn't dawn on me until the women's 5-way why Byron was the ring announcer, because the women couldn't do the ring announcing there.
Ah.
So a little bit sad on that point.
I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but to his own credit, in his own right, Byron Saxton did a hell of a fucking job.
He did a great job. I mean, I wouldn't... Honestly, and I don't think the ring announcer for SmackDown is bad by any means, but if they wanted to put him on there, I wouldn't be against it.
Right. Again, the only reason they couldn't let the main women announce is because it's Saudi Arabia. But that 5-way match, again, is a big step, I feel like, in the right direction towards global equality for women.
I think they really went out there, showed their stuff, and, you know, there was no point in that match where I was like, all right, they hate this.
Since WWE started going over to Saudi Arabia and doing stuff and, like, letting women wrestle there, like, I've watched this thing grow, and I see them take more and more steps. And, like, here in America, we have better and bigger steps that have been taken towards equality for women, but shows you in other parts of the world, like, it just doesn't exist still. And
yes.
I like that they can continually grow and keep making those steps, and hopefully this can change. They had women refs, so
they did. And
we're doing something.
They were oddly quiet during EO versus Bianca, though.
I know. Well, and that match was good, but even I, as a viewer at home, I wasn't really feeling it the way I thought I would.
I don't know if it's because, and I've said this multiple times, Bianca's starting to get to the point where she also needs a character change. And she's slowly getting that. She's getting this edge to her. But I honestly think she needs to go heel.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I would love it. I don't
see them doing it. I don't see them doing it. But I think they're just giving her an edge without giving her a heel character. You know what I mean?
Again, I proved I can be wrong, though, too, because I was dead set that Damian was cashing in, and he almost cashed in.
He almost did it, and then sneaky little Sammy.
I'm not going to cut a promo on Sammy, but Sammy, you fucking snaked my theory.
It's okay.
Did. The rest of my theory is still valid, but that's another thing. The women's 5-way, back to that, was off the fucking hook. Everybody in it looked great, and I have to go on record right now and say even Nia Jax looked great. I sat there the whole match and watched her, critiqued everything she did, and she worked safe as fuck.
See, that's the thing I have to say about, since she's come back, she's in better shape.
Mm-hmm.
And she's way better in the ring. The only thing that I think people still hate her for is her god-awful promos.
They are awful. And again, I'll always remain unbiased, and so that's why I was like, I gotta go on record and say I'm saying that she's not a safe worker, but I analyzed the fuck out of her today. I cannot stress that enough. I literally watched every movement, and she worked safely.
She is. It's just at least make her less annoying on the mic, please.
Dude. I read my next note and I got sad. So I'm like, damn, gotta pick my spirits back up. Cena can't go out like this. This isn't... There has to be more to it. Shocker fucking finish. Cena and Solo Sikoa. 5 Samoan spikes in a row for no reason. Just...
There was more than 5. There was like 7.
7D.
7D. Like... And at one point, as a wrestling fan, I said, okay, this is stupid. Like...
A little bit.
It no longer looks like it's having an effect.
I'll tell you what's stupid, but not yet. Because I'm still on this. This thought creeped in my head.
Yes.
I'm not the first one to think it. I won't be the last, but I think it seems more legit after this win. Can Solo Sikoa be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns?
I was thinking that too. I was thinking, if nothing else, this builds towards a Roman Solo match in the future, because now Solo gets the bravado, like, oh, I took out John Cena.
I'm seeing it. It's coming in the fucking crystal ball. I'm seeing it. Solo Sikoa, Universal Champion.
No.
And Tribal Chief. It'll happen in, what was that type of match him and Jey Uso did? The
Tribal count, or not tribal something or other.
Some sort of tribal rules. I think it may have just been tribal rules, but regardless, it was him, and that's what they're going to do for Solo to take that belt off of him.
Yeah.
Who I needed to win was Rey Mysterio.
Okay, listen. Someone brought this up, and now I'm thinking the same thing. Why does Logan need brass knuckles if he has a titanium rod in his... Like, why?
That part, I can't make it make sense for you. Again, I didn't even want to talk about Logan Paul, but they force me to.
Yeah, and someone also mentioned Santos was wearing yellow like Logan Paul. Is Santos joining Logan Paul?
No, he's not switching up on LWO. LWO's for life.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean that's half-assed the tagline.
That's true.
Let's forget he's a bad guy in real life. Logan Paul. Again, y'all make me talk about him, so here it fucking goes. Let's forget he's a bad guy in real life. From only an in-ring perspective, he's had big moments, but today showed he has so many errors to correct. He nearly dropped a selfless veteran on their head and ended their shit, to then be rewarded with a title that is synonymous with being a workhorse and present every week. I doubt that's what he's going to do. And even if he did, he's working at the risk of hurting people due to inexperience. Also, he filmed a dead guy, and I'm not letting that go.
Alright, now, to be fair, he did also save Rey's life. Granted, I don't... Is that the spot you're talking about, where he almost dropped him, but then...
Almost dropped him on his head, yeah. But he went down to a knee. I don't think he did it purposefully, of course. It's not like I'm accusing him of being that careless. I just think there is still that much...
I don't know if that was an experience, because what it looked like to me was that there was just miscalculation on both their parts, where someone wasn't there fast enough, or someone was going too fast. I don't know. Either way, I agree. Also, that guy that handed the knuckles looked like he was so out of there.
Yeah, I didn't know who that guy was.
I have no clue who it was either.
I know who Santos was. And
exactly.
Why did he set the brass knucks back on the ring? And again, why does Logan Paul need brass knucks? There's a lot of questions there.
Yes.
But moving forward.
Yes.
And I don't think he should be the US champ. Moving forward. Kairi Sane returns to help Io Sky.
I predicted it, and I didn't predict it on the show, but in my own head, as soon as I heard Kairi's coming back, I said, she's going to mess with this match. She's going to get involved.
She came back looking like fucking Batman Beyond.
She did.
Oh, it was sick.
But the thing about that is, now you have this tension between Kairi and Bayley. This could set up for an interesting War Games scenario.
Exactly.
And we are getting War Games. That is official now.
Uh-huh.
So, Bailey, Io, Kyrie, and someone else, because Dakota's out, versus Bianca and everyone else they've messed with over the past few months, right? And then we have to see if Bailey and Kyrie can coexist, because Bailey took her out.
Right. Can't.
So, could be interesting.
I can't wait to see where they go with this storyline. This is one of the storylines, like, there's so many different possibilities. I get excited for it. Dude, can you imagine what a moment it was for Cody Rhodes when they started chanting Dusty and then the crowd shifted to chanting Cody, like acknowledging him separately? That was such a beautiful moment. I can only imagine he was like, "Wow."
And you know what? I'm gonna go with my method of how I help people in tutoring. I'm going to give you a compliment and I'm going to give you a critique. Compliment: it was a great match. It was a great match in my opinion, despite the interference and everything. Cody and Damian gave it their all.
Yeah. That's fair.
Was it necessary?
I don't think so. Again, last week we said both. We agreed to the point it should have been a stipulation for the Money in the Bank contract.
Yes.
It wasn't. There could have been more to it, dynamic wise. But as you said too, at least the match was good.
The only reason I think they did it was so that Cody and another Judgment Day person could be on the card.
Exactly.
I get it, but at the same time, it didn't feel like I needed to watch it.
They needed Cody Rhodes to be on the card at that pay-per-view, and the best thing they could do is go with whatever storyline he's involved in, which he's been involved with the Judgment Day a little too long now. We need to start moving towards something else. We're getting closer to fucking Royal Rumble season, and I'm going to be excited when that day comes. We'll be starting a whole new season after that. I'm already looking forward to the road to WrestleMania season. That's the fucking scary time.
That's going to be scary or just...
It's going to be exciting. It's just a lot of shit happens in those months. But,
all right.
Like I said in the first Through the Table episode, LA Knight was bound to get this opportunity. Sooner than later, by all accounts. I didn't expect it to be so soon, but at the same time, I wasn't ever surprised. And, like, he was destined to deliver.
Yes.
I said then, even in losing, he's going to look great, and he did.
He did. Yeah, he Roman Reigns never kicked out of the BFT.
Never did. That's actually a fair point.
So, I mean, that's just the takeaway that I got. Like, Roman Reigns didn't kick out of the BFT. It took 2 spears to take out LA Knight. Simple math for you.
Don't use mommy math. Find out that mommy's always on top. I still think he's going to win the Royal Rumble. That's still my prediction. I'm not running away from that just because the Damian Priest thing was wrong. I was fucking
All right,
close.
So this kind of goes into a point I don't think you've talked about yet.
Nope.
Gunther cannot travel to Elimination Chamber, right?
How funny, because that's actually in the If Time Left notes.
So he can't travel to Elimination Chamber, so I was thinking, how do you get Gunther to the world title picture? Because I was thinking he would get there. Now I'm thinking he wins the Rumble.
He's ready, and it's a very, very believable prediction because last year he was the runner-up and he ran for over an hour.
The only problem is you have to get that Intercontinental title off of him.
He's fucking ready to be in the world title picture. And also, I agree, but at the same time, what if they didn't? What if he never lost it?
He could never lose it.
What if at one point you unify it with a world title? The Intercontinental World Heavyweight Championship.
You could. I just think right now, especially with Logan having the other mid-card title, you have now a person who can't travel everywhere, just in the United States.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul, who will probably hardly travel at all, if you know what I mean.
When's the Germany show?
Germany is after it's after WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be able to go by then.
Yeah, of course.
But the whole thing is, you have 2 mid-card titles that might not even be defended regularly on TV anymore.
Exactly. That was something that I just made in that previous point. Although, the more I was thinking about what I was just going on about unifying the IC title with a world title, I mean, that title has a lot of prestige. Like, what if we did just decide, okay, we're going to bump this up to a world title now because it's that prestigious of a title.
Ooh.
Now let's make a new mid-card title. Now the North American Championship moves up.
With that theory, you can honestly do, since Seth now is free, Gunther versus Seth.
I see
you
it.
can do that.
Because again, Gunther, sorry, I always mispronounce it. He's ready to be in the world title picture whenever.
Oh yeah.
He's legit. But also legit, like I said earlier, I feel like Miz could take that IC title off him, and I stamp it. Let's do it. Go Miz.
Either way, I'm down, honestly.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. There it is. Kyrie's saying merch drop, although I don't gotta fucking tell you. It literally happened like right after the pay-per-view was over, and you already got some shirts.
Yeah, I got... literally, as soon as I saw it on Twitter, I was like, I'm gonna get it. And then I was like, I shouldn't do this. Then 5 minutes later, it's arriving on the 18th. I used long shipping because, costs. But, yeah.
Will Ospreay and Seth Rollins were tweeting at each other earlier. I'm about to get back to seeing what the fuck that's about.
Oh, no.
Dude.
It's trolling. Ospreay's just trolling, honestly.
Yeah, he just sent the eye emojis. But didn't Rollins say something?
Yeah,
back?
Rollins said, I think he retweeted it and said the water is warm or something.
Oh yeah, he was listening to Smash Mouth. The water is warm, you might as well swim.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
lead singer. I'm sorry, I don't know your name off the top of my head, but...
He didn't even retweet it, he just replied, said the water is warm. That means he peed in the water.
Who does Seth feud with next, if not Gunther?
Well...
Do you continue?
Don't go backwards.
I know Carmelo also retweeted something about him and, or the streets need him and Seth.
I'd love for it to be Tommaso Ciampa. It's just not. He's going a different direction. There's so many people it could be.
I will say, if they do end up setting Carmelo up soon, I think him and Seth will have a match randomly. It won't be a feud, but I think if Seth ends up trying to go back to being like a fighting champion,
he'll have an open challenge for Carmelo Hayes to move up on. Randy Orton's coming back at Survivor Series. Maybe that's what we're running. Rollins. Maybe Orton's the next World Heavyweight Champion. He was the last one before they brought it back.
There's also the fact that now that Ric Flair is in AEW, I almost said TNA, I'm sorry. Cena has that in.
Dude, Cena has all the ends.
You could get that 17th win, I'm just saying.
It's like... And then arguments will be had like, well... Is it legit then if it wasn't consecutive with his WWE title reigns? Which I'm gonna disagree strongly.
That's fair.
That's why Jericho's the most winningest IC champion. He's won the title the most because he's won the IWGP Intercontinental title. Miz hasn't done that. Maybe Miz needs to leave.
Oh.
I was going back listening to the episode we did, More Than Just Grand Slam. If you want to go back to the Wrestling in the Middle archives. Listening to all the fucking releases we talked about.
Ugh.
Listening to you talk about the fucking Maximum Male models for 5 minutes straight.
Again, they had more going on at the point with all the stuff they were dropping here and there.
I agree. I really do. The fact that they were able to or willing to go on record afterwards made what they had.
They also had even more to drop. They drop something like every week now. They have a podcast.
Really?
They said recently that they almost got the team with Tyler Breeze, which would have made a lot of sense and would have been amazing. I'm just saying.
Man. Is it better than our podcast? No. It's not.
we had to think about that.
You had to think. I know it's not, because we're one of the best.
We're the best around.
Coming up in the game.
Okay.
We are coming up in the game.
Oh, I thought you were interrupting me.
I do. Every day. Every Saturday I interrupt you.
Dang. This almost didn't happen, guys. I just want you guys to know that we powered through some crazy stuff to get here.
Yeah, it was definitely a different type of day, but we're bound determined to get it. Like I said, I want to start having fucking backup episodes for days like these. At the same time, I knew today was going to be a badass episode because we had a badass pay-per-view. We're coming up on another one soon with Full Gear.
And Survivor Series.
Yeah, plus we're looking at starting the video game series, which, again, shout out to our sponsor for today's episode, Retro. Let's give them one more shout out. We're hoping to do some stuff with them. Some stuff. Go play some wrestling games.
Yeah, that would... we want to definitely do that specifically. AEW's got that new DLC season announced. You know, we want to play some 2K23. You know, we want to go some old school video games as well.
I want to see somebody try to play ECW Hardcore Revolution. That's what I want to see.